I see you trying to get in there, Sister Ralph. I see you. We got you on. Hey, Sister Robinson. Hey, Sister Good. Hey, Sister Ralph. We got you in on what I got you in. You know what I'm saying. I got you in on. I'm just tired. But hey, Sister Gaines, we got you in on. Yesterday we didn't have our uh, what am I calling it? I can't even Zoom. Mhm. We have you in on Zoom. So yeah. So hey everybody, how are you all doing? Just want to give a minute or two more to some people to get in here. And then I'm going to preface this statement. I shouldn't, but I am because I got some inboxes today from some people and I responded to them in kind and everything. Um, and so I want to be clear about some stuff and everything. So bear with me, bear with me, bear with me, um, and everything. If you can bear with me. All right, just giving y'all a minute or two more to get on, a couple more people to get on, and then we can start from there. All right. All right. Okay. Okay. So what I want to talk about is certainly Black History Month. We're certainly talking about Black History Month. But I have a question. Hey, Sister Brown, how are you doing? I have a question. It's a very simple question, and it's based on, again, some stuff that was uh, said to me in this exchange of emails. So I got this exchange of emails. I was going to do it in a different direction. But I got, hey, Ronnie, I got this email saying that was I anti-Black History Month and anti-Black history and all of this stuff, and I said certainly not. And they said I waited till I was 54, almost 54 years old, which I'll be in this June, to start being anti-Black history. And so I asked them, I said, what are you celebrating? He said, what do you mean I'm celebrating Black History Month? I said, I'm going to give you 6 dates. And I want you to tell me what you're celebrating. I emailed them back and said, I want you to give me I'm going to give you 6 dates. And I want you to tell me what you're celebrating. Are you celebrating 1496 or are you celebrating 1964? Are you celebrating 1619 or are you celebrating 1969? Are you celebrating 1796 or are you celebrating 1976? See, if you don't know the significance of these dates, then what are you celebrating? What I expressed to him is when you know better, you do better. It is not that I am anti-Black history, because there is no such thing as Black history. There's a history of a people who have been deemed Black as a race here in the American diaspora by its oppressors. There is a such thing as African history and the history of the Africans who were stolen, and some left the continent of Africa and have impacted the world. Did you know, and I omitted to say this, did you know that they celebrate Black History Month, but it's called African American History Month in Canada, in Ireland, and in the United Kingdom? That's right. I accidentally said we're the only country, and I was wrong about that. You see, are we celebrating 1496, the Northwood Push, and the expansion out towards the west as commissioned by King Henry VII as the Europeans invaded North America? Are we celebrating 1496? Or are you celebrating 1964, the Civil Rights Voting Act? What do these two have to do with each other? Well, in 1496, as they are trying to expand America north and discover the Western Hemisphere of America, they are looking for places where it is good to grow food, places that they can live. Good afternoon, Aunt Geneva. Good afternoon, Uncle Herman. Places they can live, places they can farm, places that they can create a living, build houses, and that was conducive to living and having indentured servants. Because before slavery, before chattel slavery, there was indentured servants. So are you celebrating the expansion of America and the North American hemisphere that would become the place where many of our ancestors died after working for free and were beaten to death or died as they tried to travail out that way to the West to escape slavery? Is that what you're celebrating? The Africans who were with them, who cut the trails, who dug the roads, who carried the ships and the boats across land when there was no water. Is that what you're celebrating? Because that was a contribution we made to America. Or are you celebrating 1964 when they passed the Civil Rights Voting Act and yet you still could not vote? What are you celebrating this month? I just want to know, what are you celebrating? Are you celebrating 1619 when the first people who were Africans who 3-4 generations helped discover and develop America, now 4 or 5 generations later, they're being brought here in chains as slaves? Are you celebrating the 1619 project, where the people who we helped discover the place and well, not discover it, steal it, what are you celebrating? That they now began to bring us here in chains? Is that what you're celebrating? That's what I was asking. What are you celebrating this month? What are you acknowledging this month? Well, are you celebrating 1969? Do you know about Kent State? 6970? What are you celebrating? Are you celebrating 1619, who most Republicans have said, oh, it never happened. That's not how slavery happened, and it wasn't slavery. Are you celebrating that which people are denying even took place? I mean, what are you celebrating? Because if it didn't take place, and the people who gave you your freedom, your physical freedom, but still keep you mentally, socially, spiritually, and economically enslaved and chained, I'm just trying to find out, what are you celebrating? Am I saying that there's nothing to celebrate? Yes, but I'm trying to figure out, what are you celebrating? Are you celebrating what you decided and you researched and you read for yourself, you and your children? Are you celebrating that, or are you celebrating what you've been told it is safe and it is okay to celebrate? Are you celebrating Nat Turner, or are you celebrating Martin Luther King? Are you celebrating Harriet Tubman? Or are you celebrating Madam C.J. Like, what are you celebrating? Are you celebrating what you've chosen to celebrate, or you celebrating what they told you? Here's this group of people you can celebrate. And if you don't understand the significance and the correlation between these days, let me tell you something. You ain't got nothing to celebrate. You ain't got nothing to celebrate. You ain't got nothing to be happy about. Are you celebrating 1796? When Jefferson is defeated by Adams, who Jefferson was a slave owner himself, and as a result of that electoral defeat, slavery would be going on for a whole lot longer? Are you celebrating 1796? Or are you celebrating 1976, where the Republican president, before the 76 election, Ford said, hey, I'm down in the polls with black people. We as Republicans are down in the polls with black people. We're going to lose the House. We're going to lose the House, the Senate, everything to the Democrats. Let's recognize this black, oh, see, y'all didn't know that. Let's recognize this Black History Month so we can get inroads with black people. And now the same Republicans in 2020 said the 1619 project didn't happen. I need to know what you celebrate. Because tomorrow I'm going to ask you why you celebrate. But today I need to know what you celebrate in this Black History Month. It is a Black history. Black not in the sense of the color of the skin of the people, Black as in it is dark. It is unknown, our real history. They hide stuff, they blot stuff out. They kept stuff from us. They told us who and where and when and what we can celebrate. It's Black in the sense that they use Black to mean mean and nasty and hurtful and painful. It should be called Dark History Month, Dark Painful History Month. Because when do we celebrate the African part of it? And if we're trying to make progress and we're trying to catch up, we ain't got time to stop and celebrate. And what are you celebrating this month? Tomorrow I'll talk to you about I'll ask why. But what do you celebrate? Then Thursday I'll ask you who you celebrate. What are you celebrating for? I like watching track and field. And I remember one time, this was years ago, it was a long distance run. I think it was like 5,000 or 10,000 meter indoors. And this dude, he came out of the back of the pack. And they didn't even think he had a chance to show, certainly not place. He definitely wasn't going to win. The last lap, this dude came out of the pack and he kicked it in. And he passed everybody. And he heard the crowd cheering because he came out of nowhere. He heard them cheering and he heard them chanting his name because of the progress he had made. And he seen them stand up and clapping for him. And 10 feet, 3 more strides from the finish line, he stopped and joined the celebration. And everybody passed him. What are we celebrating? If we trying to get our children to go a whole lot further, what we celebrating? What we celebrating? If we've come from that far behind and we've caught up, why are we stopping before the finish line and celebrate? What you celebrating for? We ain't crossed the finish line yet. As long as our children go to school in abject poverty, we ain't cross the finish line. As long as there's black on black violence and gangs promoted falsely, and we're portrayed in the media, ain't nothing to celebrate. As long as white cops can pepper spray 9-year-old girls in the face and all they do is get suspended, we ain't got nothing to celebrate. As long as gang members still killing gang members, but the man who killed Trayvon Martin can walk around free with his address on file and that near gangster thug hoodlum went to his house and gave him the business, we ain't got nothing to celebrate. We too damn far behind. And we ain't even catch up yet and we celebrate. What you got to celebrate? When the schools that unfortunately all over the country, the public schools that perform the poorest are public schools with African American principals, we ain't got nothing to celebrate. When fathers and uncles are being systematically removed from community, and when reinserting the community and raping and molesting their nieces, their sons, their nephews, I just want to know what you celebrate. Because maybe because I like a good time too. But I know when to have a good time. So it's just a simple question. What you celebrate? You're celebrating because you were told to celebrate. You're celebrating because you've been allowed to celebrate. You're celebrating because they told you who you can celebrate, where you can celebrate, when you can celebrate, and what to celebrate. Here's when you have something to celebrate. Here's when you have true African American history. When the 5 oldest men and women of African descent that are still living and still have the function of their senses, they can sit and they can talk. And those 10 persons come out of their room, 5 men and 5 women. 2 from each field, 1 man and 1 woman from each of these fields. Medicine, law, education, science, and religion. They go in the room. When they come out the room, one of them walk to the podium and say, African American History Month is on this month, then we'll have something to celebrate. Because you know why? Because we decided for ourselves what and when we going to celebrate and who. So it's a simple question. What are you celebrating? Are you celebrating 1496 or 1964? Are you celebrating 1619 or are you celebrating 1969? Are you celebrating 1976 or are you celebrating 1796? Are you celebrating our diversity or are you celebrating our division? Are you celebrating the history of the people in America who were stolen from Africa? Here, are you celebrating that history or do you want to celebrate our story? Not just our history, our entire story of our entire existence. What are you celebrating? Hey, Sister Lathan. That's my question. See, when you know better, we do better. I said that. You're right, Sister Dill. What are we celebrating? We ain't win the race yet. We ain't even catch up yet. Yes, the applause of the crowd sounds good, but keep running. Yes, it sounds good that they're cheering the names of some people who made some great progress and who overcome a whole lot of stuff, but keep running. Yes, it feels good to hear the name of people who look like us and walk like us and talk like us and think like us. Listen, the applause is deafening, but don't stop and celebrate. The race ain't over. Don't get caught up in the jeer of the crowd. Because then, see, we can celebrate who we want to, what we want to, when we want to, where we want to, how we want to. We can have Nat Turner's birthday as a holiday. Imagine that. Nat Turner Day. In New York, we had this day before they started this Black History Month stuff in November called Black Solidarity Day. Nobody went to school. Nobody went to work. Nobody did nothing if you were Black. White folk knew it. They were like, you ain't Black nobody do nothing Black. It's Black Solidarity Day. Well, some white person told some Black person, you know what y'all should do on Black Solidarity Day? Man, y'all should have a parade. For real? Yeah. Then all of a sudden, you didn't hear much about Black Solidarity Day. You started hearing about this thing called Brooklyn Queens Day. Because see, on Black Solidarity Day, people would go to these poetry readings. They would go to have conversations. They would go see these one-man shows at the Slave Theater that talked about Huey P. Newton and Stokely Carmichael. And you hear the names of all these other Black revolutionaries during the slave times and stuff like that. My dad used to take me to it. Then we started celebrating Black History Day. Not Black, we started celebrating on Black Solidarity. Yeah, we started celebrating. We started marching and having parades. And then inviting, we didn't have no band, so some white schools came. And schools of other colors and nationalities came. And all of a sudden, there was no more such thing as Black Solidarity Day. It was Brooklyn Queens Day. And I think they got a Harlem Day. And Harlem turned theirs into a week. And they have a big old party. We're up at Grant's tomb at the far top end of the park. And Grant was, right, you know who Grant was, right. But we celebrating though. Don't get caught up in the celebration that you lose focus of the impact we could have on this nation if we keep running, if we stay in the race, if we stay in the fight, if we stay in the struggle. I'm not saying we don't have anything to celebrate. Why, we have a lot to celebrate. But before we celebrate, see, because here's the thing. See, now we are allowed to celebrate. We are encouraged to celebrate. That should tell you there's something wrong. The people who held us down, the people who denied the 1619 project, telling us to celebrate, the people who killed Martin and Malcolm, telling us to celebrate them? That don't seem wrong to you? Sister Latham, your state has a great history in this. You should start reading and studying and sharing the history of your state from 1796 onward. It's great history, great history. The volunteers. I'm not saying we don't have nothing to celebrate. We got a lot to celebrate. I'm asking you personally, what are you celebrating? Because I know the significance of these dates and I ain't celebrating. So if you don't know the significance of these dates, what you celebrate? You ever seen somebody, they were happy and they were laughing? Well, what you laughing about? What you got to be so happy for? Right, that's what I'm at. What you got to be, what you celebrating? What you so happy about? Because if you know what I know, and y'all, that's what you said. Okay, you laughing now, but if you know what I know, you wouldn't be laughing if you know what I know. Right. So we have a lot to celebrate, but let's celebrate on our terms, and let's celebrate who and what we want to celebrate. And let's stay in the race so we can celebrate where and when and how we want to celebrate. Because even inside the month they gave you to celebrate, they make sure you take out a week to celebrate their president. We're going to give you the shortest month. Then we're going to take out a week to celebrate our president and some other stuff. You know, we got stuff to celebrate. In fact, one day I'll tell you what we got to celebrate when we get to the celebration time. And if I'm not here, my son will tell you, your sons and daughters, what we have to celebrate. And if he's not here, his son will tell your sons and daughters what we got to celebrate. And if the race isn't over then the fifth, sixth, ninth, tenth generations of ways after me will tell the fifth, sixth, ninth, tenth generation of you all what we got to celebrate when it's celebration time. Let's not celebrate winning a battle while the war is still raging. I remember one year the North Carolina Tar Heels won the national championship. And they wasn't expected to win it. And what's customary when you win each region, you cut down the nets. And every time they won a region, they were like, why y'all not cutting down the nets? And they was like, because those ain't the nets we want. But you just won this region. That's okay. Let them nets stay there. Those ain't the ones we want. We ain't got nothing to celebrate. And they would leave the floor. They wouldn't cut down the nets. They got to the next region, won that. We ain't cutting down the nets because we ain't got nothing to celebrate. Because see, we haven't won what it is we trying to win yet. We winning some battles, but there's a war still going on. And when they finally won, they cut down the nets. Each person took one little snip and one little piece. We can have our own big individual celebrations for small victories, or we can have one big celebration and we look down from the heavens above on our 20th and 30th generation of young people, children unborn, and celebrate from the highest parts of heaven to the lowest parts of the earth. You choose what you want to celebrate. I've already made my choice. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Have a good night. And again, I'm not anti-Black History Month, because for me to be anti that, there would have to be a such thing as that. And since Black isn't a race or a color, it's just a color. Actually, it isn't a color. Research that. Black and white ain't colors. Then I can't be anti something that doesn't exist. It's a figment. They have you celebrating. I'm gonna leave y'all alone, because y'all don't like when I teach like this. Y'all like when I'm preaching, and y'all like that. Y'all don't like when I teach like this. They have you celebrating your imagination. You are celebrating something, and it ain't your imagination. They have you celebrating something they told you to imagine. They created a figment, placed it in your imagination, and said, now celebrate this figment that we created for you. That's what you celebrate. I celebrated it too. For almost 40-something years of my life, I celebrated it too. Hey, Aunt Shell. Hey, Sister Ransom. I celebrated it too. I did. But now that I know better, I'm going to do better. And my job is to enlighten people and wake people up. Look what? Ask Uncle Herman and Aunt Shell and Miss Geneva, some of the old people. There was no Black History Month celebration when they was in school in the 50s and 60s. That didn't come about, I'm telling you, until 1976. My first few years in school, there was no such thing as that. Where the whole school recognized it, where every school through the city did it, there was no such thing as that. Some states, they didn't even know about it. Black History Month, what's that? Right. They played with the minds of people. And we've created an imaginary thing. And we want you to celebrate this imaginary thing that we created for you and placed in your mind. And so we celebrate. But now that you know better, do better. Go back and really listen closely to what I'm saying. And if you think I'm lying about anything, research it. The next time, just say, listen, brother, sister, I'm not against it. I just want to ask you a question. What exactly are you celebrating? And they're going to say, oh, I'm celebrating. No. That's what you're celebrating, and you're celebrating that because others are celebrating that. But if you knew nothing of all of that, what would you be celebrating? That's right. We're supposed to represent our story, African story, every day. Ask them, say, if you knew nothing about all the stuff you know about African Americans, right? All things you've been told, all things you've been taught in school, all of those people, yes. If you knew none of them names, what Black people, what African American experiences and achievements would you celebrate? And you know what most of them want to say? Well, none. Because there's none besides those, and that's not true. So, I know what you've been told. That's why I'm asking you, what are you celebrating? Remove what you've been told to celebrate. Remove what you've been inoculated to celebrate. Remove what you've been told it is okay and who you've been told to celebrate. Remove all of that. Who would you celebrate? What year in history? What contributions that Africans that they didn't tell you about made to this country? What would you celebrate? How would you celebrate? Exactly. So, like women say, when y'all come in the room and men laughing, what you laughing at? Well, if you know what I know, you wouldn't be laughing. Exactly. What you celebrating? Because if you know what I know, you wouldn't be. You ain't got nothing to celebrate. Anyway, God bless y'all. Heaven smile on you. I'm gonna stop teaching like this because y'all don't like this. Y'all don't like when I teach like this. Y'all get mad at me. Y'all get upset. Y'all want me to preach that. Oh, and the Lord said, yeah, that's what y'all want. Y'all don't want sound, historical, factual teaching that expands your mind. Y'all like when I'm going here and I make you feel good. You don't like when I y'all don't like because nobody likes to be woken up. Nobody wants to be woken up, but I can't leave y'all sleeping. I can't do it. I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. I'm not going to do it. I refuse. I refuse to let my people sleep. The Bible says my people perish for a lack of knowledge. I can't do it. Now, after I wake you up, if you go back on the couch and take a nap and you miss it, that's on you. Don't blame me. God bless you. See you later. See you tomorrow at 6 o'clock for the 12-minute message, and then we're going to go straight into our Bible study. So the 12-minute message and Bible study going to run together. If you don't have a copy of the packet for spiritual growth and development class, email me at don't email me at WEW. Email me at, I'm going to put it up here now, it's already up there. Email me at pastorwadepleasepray.com and I will email you a copy of our packet for the spiritual growth and development. All right. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. Have a great, great day. I can't keep it going, Sister Gaines. I'm tired, but yeah. Have a great, great day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow. God bless. God bless. God bless.